All right. A little bit of a different view this morning or this week. I decided to record this on Monday instead of on Sunday. This weekend was just busy. So instead of just me talking to the camera, I wanted to show you the spreadsheet that I built that I use that is my tracker. You can tell that I don't always take the best journaling notes. That's okay. But as a note, so this last week, on Friday, when I got ready to break my fast, I am down now 66.4 pounds. So that's my new lowest weight is 303.6. I started at 370. So that's awesome. That means that during this 5-day fast, I lost a total of 5 pounds. I did this is the week before. So in comparison, the last 5 days, I lost 4.4 pounds. That seems to be pretty close, 4 to 5 pounds on a 5-day water fast, 2-day eat refeed. That seems pretty average. And last time I gained 9.6 pounds, and this time I gained 11.6 pounds. I have been noticing a little bit of a trend, and I haven't found out exactly what it is yet. But Saturday I start to get sour burps. And I'm sure it's just because I haven't yet started to really clean up what I eat. Like, it's just pretty much garbage. I tried. So to take you through my fast this last week, everything went great. I felt great the whole time. I didn't have too many hiccups or anything like that. I did find that Thursday, pretty much all day, mentally, I knew I was going to eat that next day. And so I started getting more and more interested in food and deciding what I'm going to eat, and just got much more hungry. And I found that to be true. And so that's one tip that I have, is the more that you can just ignore the fact that food exists, the longer you'll be able to fast without any issue. Like the rest of the whole week, and even today, like I'm on my second day fasting again. I fasted yesterday, I'm fasting today. Food is not on my radar, and I try not to think about it. I try not to watch videos about it. I try not to decide what I'm going to eat this next week. Like, and as long as I can keep that away, there's no issues. But as soon as I start thinking, oh, okay, like Wednesday night, I started to get a little bit like, ooh, I'm excited. I'm going to be eating Friday, and I started to get a little hungry. And then Thursday, I got a lot more hungry because I was so excited about what I was going to eat. And I had also decided that I was going to do a test this last weekend on my refeed to do keto instead of just eat whatever I want. And that lasted most of Friday. The breakfast that I broke it with, I was making bone broth, and I made an omelet that was going to be so good, but the meat, I don't like roasted meat evidently as much. And so the omelet wasn't as good, and so I was just kind of disappointed throughout the day. And then that night we were going to go out with friends. Actually, we were going to cook in and make like steak and shrimp and scallops and stuff, and we did do that. But while we were waiting, everybody was eating bread, and it was just too much for me. And that's really why I've given up on keto in general, is because just sitting around while everybody's eating stuff that is so amazing, I have a hard time with. And so I went ahead and just ate the bread. Like, I know that with fasting, I'm going to lose the weight. And so, yeah, keto might help me lose that weight a little bit faster, but it just didn't feel worth it to me at the time. I might try that test again one of these weeks, but at the time, it just wasn't worth it. So then we went ahead and had dessert and played around. And then Saturday came around, and I think I just had like spaghetti and stuff. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. And I ended my fast with grapes, which I love eating grapes, and popcorn because we were watching a movie. But so Saturday wasn't this terrible eating, but it wasn't clean or anything like that. But I did notice that Saturday I started getting sour burps again, and those lasted, well into Sunday. But again, like, this is the first weekend where I didn't feel like, man, I really just need to get back into fasting because my body is done. And so that's good. I didn't go overboard on Saturday, and so that was good. And that's something that I've had many times where it just, like, my refeed feels like it's done because I need to get back in because I feel too full or whatever, and that's starting to be uncomfortable, which to me is a good thing because it's been a problem that I've had my whole life of just eating too much and feeling uncomfortable. And so that's kind of fixed. At least some. Like, I'll have to fix it in a long-term refeed. Okay, so that's why you can see that my goal here was to do keto this next week and keto the next week. We're actually going to change this up a little bit because at church we're having a party on this Tuesday. So instead, I'm going to switch so that this is a water fast day here and here, and I'm going to eat here and here, and I'm going to water fast here as well. I have some friends I have a friend from Spain who's coming and visiting, so I will be eating this day as well because we're going to all get together and eat there. So this next week and a half will be a little bit weird, but this fast right here I hope will be quite a bit better, right? Because that's 8 days, and so I should see much better numbers. Like I might see as much as 12 or 13 pounds lost. We'll see. Because in general, like if you'll notice here, my lowest weight was 61, and it took me fasting 4 days before I hit 61 again. And so then I fasted that day and a half, right? Because I ate that day, but I fasted this whole day and this whole day. So 3 full days of water fasting is what it took to get back down. So I'll do 3 full days of water fasting, and then I will have, I should get back down probably here. I'll be down to my lowest weight again, and then I will have a full another 5 days. So hopefully that'll end up being like 10 to 12 pounds lost. But this next water fast, I won't lose much at all. So it is what it is. I am planning on getting to the point pretty soon, right here, where I'm going to do a 21-day water fast. And that, we will see how that does. I've heard that the last 7 days of that, you don't lose much weight, but a lot of your skin shrinks and things like that, and so it's really good for that kind of stuff. The last thing I wanted to show was, I've been putting these in the thumbnail, and I'm just not going to do the thumbnail anymore. It's work that isn't worth it to me right now. So this red line, and I wanted to explain it anyway, the red line is what would happen if I lost a pound a day, right? It's not really the goal, but this is the most that you would ever lose doing fasting on average. If you're going long term to lose 100 plus pounds, you're not going to lose more than a pound a day. So this is like the best that I would get. So hitting my ultimate goal down here of 150 pounds, which I don't know that my goal really is that, but it's probably closer to 180. But that would take me all the way until about February if I was doing it the fastest. Right now, this line, as you take it off, it looks like it'll probably be more like May, which is totally great. But it's actually a little bit faster because right now I'm at the highest, so it'll hopefully be around April or May that I hit that goal if I go that far down. I'm letting my wife decide when the end point is when I get down, because I don't want to get, like, I know people get body dysmorphia and don't feel like they've yet lost enough, and their spouses look at them and say, okay, now you're going over the line. And so she'll have the ability to say, okay, you're going over the line, let's get back into normal. So, and so this whole time, these refeeds, my goal as I go and as I get closer, it's going to be much more important for me to get to the refeed being a real normal. Right now I'm eating popcorn and ice cream and, all kinds of stuff that I don't want that to be my normal. But that's my addicted normal. And so I want to, over the 6 months or so that I'm doing this, I want to overcome that normal and get to one that is more healthy. eating desserts is okay if it's every couple weeks you have some, but like a normal human. But when it's every day, that's not going to work. So that's my long-term goal, is to get to the point where I have a normal that is acceptable and can be long-term, and then use fasting as a safety net. But we'll see how it works. But anyway, so this is how my whole fast from the very beginning, back when I was 370 pounds on August 1st, these 14-day fasts, like this first one was just huge, but the second one was still 18 pounds in that 14 days. And that gives me a much better average. Like this one, I lost a whole bunch of weight to start, a whole bunch of my water weight. And this one, I didn't have as much. And so from here to here was only 18 pounds. And so then I did my test of the 2 meals a day, or 2 meals a week. And that it never got me back down to this point. And the 5-2s, then as soon as I started the 5-2s, I've gotten a new low every single time. And so these are really much better for me. But we'll see. Like I'm gonna keep running tests until I'm done with any tests that I can think of, at which point I will either be doing 5-2s. I will probably try and do some 11-3s. So fasting for 11 days, which would be closer to this, but fasting for 11 days and then just eating 3. Because this 14 and then the 6 or 7 day refeed was really difficult to do. Like this is long, especially at day like 3. It's just really long to think, okay, I'm not eating for another week and a half. But then this refeed was too long. Like by the end, I was just like, I've got to get back on. Like my joints are starting to hurt again, and I just feel like crap. And so a full week of refeed when I'm not being good. This one wasn't so bad because I did refeed for 2 days, and then I started doing keto for the last half of the refeed to get me back in. And so that had a better curve to it, slowed down, and I didn't feel so bad. But that's hard to do. Mentally, keto's hard when you've been restricting yourself. And like I was worried that this fast would be just as hard as this fast. This fast is the hardest. This first fast, that will always be your hardest one, which is why I recommend that people do a 14-day. Like when you have the most strength that you'll ever have and the most determination and the most focus on your why, you do the hardest thing. And so you do that 14 days, and then the second one, much easier. And all of these have been way easier than any fasting ever in my whole life because I beat it here. And so now it's just fasting. It's just normal, and it's just what I do. And each one has its own mental challenges, but it's not nearly as bad. So that's where I'm at. I'm down to my lowest weight is 66 pounds down, 66 and a half. I'm I'm so close to crossing that 300-pound barrier. And so I'm excited for that. That'll be cool. That should happen this fast. And it'll be fun to celebrate that with my friends at church. So that's where we're at. And I'm going to do this from now on. This is easier to do. And I won't have to make a thumbnail. I'll just use whatever is there. So, alrighty guys, let me know if you have any questions, comment below. You can subscribe if you want. I'll keep trying to make these. We'll see. Thanks guys.